Hello learners, how are you all today? I am Rajiv and I hope you all are keeping well with your studies during this lockdown period. You must be staying at home and doing your study at home and preparing for your examinations, and this is the best opportunity for you to avail of the time and utilize it properly because you are not indulged in other outside activities. So keep it up if you are doing so. So today I am going to discuss class 12 poetry, which title is An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum, written by Stephen Spender. So let's discuss the poetry, and first we'll go through the introduction of the poem and introduction of the poet. So an elementary school classroom in a slum. So what do you mean by the word slum? So slum is the area which is generally found in our country, everywhere, especially in metro cities, where people from underprivileged background they live there. So there is the importance of this word slum, because in the poetry the poet discusses about the people living in an underprivileged area. They are living in a slum. That means these people do not have accessibility of the things that privileged people have in their life. So this poetry is written by Stephen Spender, who is a British poet. He is an essayist and writer. He wrote on the theme of social injustice. So in this poetry he has picked up the theme of social injustice and class discrimination and unequal distribution of the resources and the amenities among the different section of society. So he raises this issue in this poetry especially. You have to bear in your mind that this is the theme. The theme is the class discrimination and distribution of unequal resources and unequal facilities that ruins the life of these underprivileged children especially. That's why he has written this poetry, and he has mentioned throughout the stanza the same situation. So let's move on to the stanza number 1. Let me recite for you. If you have your books with you, you can recite from there line by line. Try to understand, try to interpret the meaning. So it is far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces, like rootless weeds, the hair torn around their pallor. So far, far from gusty waves. Far, far from gusty waves. What does it mean? Far, far from gusty waves. Far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces, like rootless weeds. What is this? Do you understand its meaning? We need to interpret, and we need to analyze it, and we need to figure out the devices hidden in it and its figurative meaning, not literal meaning but figurative meaning, because it's talking about gusty waves. So gusty waves, gusts are the strong winds, literal meaning. But here what gusty wave mean is energy, full of energy, enthusiasm, exuberance. So who are full of energy, who have such enthusiasm? So it is referring to the privileged children. Privileged children have enthusiasm. They are full of energy because they have those exuberance in them, because they are energetic. No, they are not malnourished. That's why they are energetic. They are very enthusiastic about the things because they have all the accessibilities of the things around them. So gusty waves refers to the privileged children. Privileged children here. Okay. So poet is comparing. There is comparison set. Okay, between the children's. These children refers to these children. Who are these children in this line? Are the poor children living in the slum. Children living in the slum who are underprivileged, and gusty waves are privileged children. So there is comparison. So far, far from the gusty waves, these children's faces, far from the gusty waves. These children's faces, so far, these children's faces are very far from gusty waves. So these children's faces are, no, because they are dull, they are paler. So pallor word is used here. They are paler, pale face, dull face, malnutrited face, that lacks energy. Okay, so these children's faces are far from those children who are privileged. They are exuberant. So what are their faces like? Their faces like rootless weeds. Now comparison drawn between, okay, rootless weeds and these children's faces. So these children's faces are like rootless weeds. So here another metaphorical term. Metaphor. What is metaphor here? Rootless weeds. Rootless weeds. So you know weeds. Weeds are unwanted plants that grow on their own and they are not liked by anybody. So they are weeds, they are unwanted in society and they are rootless. So what happens to the rootless things? They die very soon. They have no fixed position. They have been rooted out. The same manner these children have been rooted out from their life, means their life is very short span. Okay, so they don't have any base, they don't have any ground. Okay, so these children's like faces are like rootless weeds. The hair torn around their pallor, their hair are unkempt. They do not take care of their hair because no, they don't have basic amenities. So it is kept unkempt and they are scattered around their pallor face, weak face. So the tall girl with her weighed down head. The tall girl, there is a tall girl in the classroom whose head is weighed down. Head is weighed down. Why her head is weighed down? Think. Why one's head is weighed down? Because of lack of energy, because of exhaustion. When do our heads weighed down? No, because of exhaustion. We are tired of. So here she is tired of poverty. She is malnutrited too. So she is completely exhausted. That's why her head is weighed down. So you can understand the meaning. Her head is weighed down. So what does it imply? That she is very exhausted physically, mentally. She is exhausted. The paper seeming boy with rat's eye. So boy is paper seeming because he is malnutrited. So he is very skinny boy. Now metaphorical term is rat's eye. His eyes are like rats. So compare rat's eye. So rat's eye are always looking, searching eyes. So rat's eyes are always searching eyes. The same manner these boys' eyes are searching for food. It is searching for something. So it is not stable, it is searching for something always. Most probably these eyes are searching for food, the hungry eyes. So here it is a metaphor, and the metaphor is rat's eyes. Rat's eyes. The stunted, unlucky ear of twisted bones, reciting a father's gnarled disease. Okay, so now there is another boy who is stunted, unlucky ear. So stunted means that growth is stopped. It has been prevented from growing. So stunted. And this boy's growth is stunted. It's been prevented from growing up because of, you can understand, because of malnutrition. Okay, he is not getting proper nourishment. He is unlucky ear. So in this world, people are ear. Ear means the successor who gets the property, the things that belongs to father or mother. when they passed away, these year get their all the properties and all the things their parents inherit. So this boy is unlucky here. Why he is unlucky here? He is not getting money when his father will passed away. Why? What he is going to inherit? He is going to inherit twisted bones. His father's body is again twisted. His body is twisted means what? His body is deformed because of poverty, because of the burden of the poverty. His body is deformed. So he has inherited, in fact, that twisted bones, and he is reciting his father's gnarl disease. So he is reciting means showing up, like we recite poetry. So he is showing up his father's gnarl disease, incurable disease, twisted bones, and other disease that is incurable. He is reciting that disease. So that's why he is unlucky heir. His lessons from his desk, there is pun. He is reciting two things. He is reciting his father's gnarl disease as well as he is reciting the lessons from his desk. So pun means the double meaning word. The word has double meaning. So here double meaning is of the reciting. So reciting has two meaning. What he is reciting in the first place, he is reciting his father's gnarl disease. On the other place, he is reciting his lessons from his desk. At back of the dim class, one unnoted, sweet and young, his eyes live in a dream. So now there is another boy who is sitting at the back of the dim class. He is unnoted one. Unnoted one, does it signify anything? Does it have any significance here in this line? He is unnoted because this is elementary school classroom. No, it is not very hi-fi school of metro cities. It is elementary school classroom where there is no teacher. If teacher comes, he or she doesn't pay attention to the students. So this boy is unnoted. He is indulged in his own affair. He is engrossed in his dreams. Teacher is not going to care about what he is doing. So he is unnoted, sweet and young boy. His eyes live in a dream. His eyes live in a dream, but his eyes are dreaming. What he is dreaming of? Of a squirrel's game. Again, another metaphor. His eye is dreaming of a squirrel games. What does a squirrel do? It move around freely in tree room. On tree is move around freely. It gets inside in a tree room. That there is hole in the tree and the squirrels live there. So it implies they are living freely, they are moving freely. So squirrel game is what? You must have observed the activities of squirrel. It moves around freely around the tree, gathering food. It is not confined to the one place. So the same manner, he is lost in a dream of a squirrel game. I hope it is clear. So squirrel game is another metaphor. And what was the pun? Reciting is the pun here. Pun here means the double meaning of a same word. In tree room other than this. So he doesn't want to live in this room because we are going to discuss what kind of room it is. So he is not finding himself fit to live in this room. He is not comfortable in this room because he is dreaming about to roam around freely like a squirrel. So this is it. Let's move on to the second stanza of the poetry. Second stanza. On sour cream walls, donations, Shakespeare's head, cloudless at dawn, civilized dome riding all cities. Built flowery, tireless valley, open-handed map, awarding the world its world, and yet for these children, these windows, not this map, their world, where all their future is printed with a fog. A narrow street sealed in with a lead sky, far, far from rivers, caves, and stars of words. So these are the lines of poetry, but quite difficult to interpret. If we try, we can interpret. On sour cream walls, now there is depiction of the classroom. So what are the walls of the classroom like? Sour cream walls. The color of the wall is off cream color, off white color. It's become creamish. When white color paint is not painted for long time, it turns the creamish color. So it's become off white color. So it has turned into off white color. That means sour cream walls. Donations. Now these walls were painted earlier with the help of donations. So now there is pause. Now the line changes, the thought changes from this point. Shakespeare's head. So on these walls, what are hanging on these walls? Shakespeare's head, cloudless at dawn, civilized dome riding all cities. So there is bust of Shakespeare that is on the wall, and Shakespeare, if you have seen the picture of Shakespeare, Shakespeare's head is bald. So the front pate, this bald part of Shakespeare's head appears like this behind the horizon. So it is like dome shape. So Shakespeare's head, which is hung on the wall, okay, in the morning time, it looks, when the sun rises, okay, the same, when sun rises from behind the horizon, what it looks like, the same way the Shakespeare's head looks like that it is hiding behind the cities, tall cities, okay, tall skyscrapers, it is hiding behind tall skyscrapers, okay. So this is what Shakespeare's head look like, and this is what the interpretation of this line is. Now moving to the next line, veiled, flowery, tireless valley. Now what other pictures are hung over the wall? There is tireless valley. Tireless valley is a beautiful valley in the Mediterranean. So these tireless valley are showing flowery pictures. There are garden which are full of flowers. Now there is open-handed map. Why the map is open-handed? So there is open-handed map awarding the world its world. Why the map is open-handed? Because it's awarding the world its world. Whatever world resides outside, okay, it is showing that world here. So it is rewarding the original world. It is depicting the original world. Whatever world is there outside, it is showing up on the map. So that's why it's awarding the real world. And yet for these, now the line thought changes from here. There is contrast. So these maps shows the real world. But for these children, who are these children? These children belong to the slum. So these children, these windows, the window, which window? The window of their elementary school class room's window. When they look outside, what do they see? They see their slums out there. So from this window of their elementary school classroom, they see their slum only. But the map shows the real world which is outside. So not this map, their world where all their future is printed. So these windows, not these map, their world. This map which is hung over the wall is not their window, but their window is what? The window of their classroom, from where they look outside, they see their slum. So they are not going to see the outside world in reality, but what they are only going to see is their slum area, where all their future is printed with fog. And in this slum, their future is printed with fog. Fog is symbolic of what? There is fog, there is no visibility. So we say sometimes his future is very dark. Somebody's future is foggy, means there is no visibility no hope. So in the same manner, their future is painted with fog, means their future is hopeless. A narrow street sealed in with a lead sky. Now their slum has been referred to as a narrow street. It's not very wide, it's narrow street, a cramped hole kind of thing, okay, where there is no sunlight, and this is closed. So that's why lead sky, it's very dark, narrow street. Their slum is referred to as narrow street. Far from rivers, capes and stars of words. So again metaphorical term here. So these rivers, capes and stars of the words. So their slum is far from what? The radiant of knowledge. Star are the symbolic of radiance, light, brightness, and words, knowledge. So, and these two things also, rivers and capes, these are natural things, geographical things, okay. So their slum is far from these beautiful things of nature as well as the light of knowledge, okay. So here what we have found is on the sour cream walls, donations, Shakespeare's head, cloudless at dawn, civilized dome riding all cities, belt flowery, tireless valley, open-handed map, awarding the world its world, and yet no, we can find poetic devices here, verse, sound, alliteration, and yet for these children, these windows, not this map, their world, where all their future is painted with the fog, a narrow street sealed with a lead sky, far, again there is repetition, because repetition, the same word is repeated. So this is poetic device, this is called repetition. Stars of words, this is metaphorical term. Why this is metaphor? Because it refers to something else. It is referring to the radiance of knowledge. The stars of words refers to radiance of knowledge. I hope it's clear to you, and this should be clear to you. Shakespeare's head, cloudless at dawn, civilized dome riding all cities. Comparison of Shakespeare's head is pate, okay, which seems as if sun is rising behind from horizon during the sunrise time, and which is what? Riding behind all the buildings in the city, okay. Dear students, I hope you have understood what I have discussed with you, and you are going to grasp hold of the idea and the basic theme of the poetry that poet wants to convey to you. And we are left with the two more stanzas that I am going to discuss in my next video, because I have already made this video somewhat lengthy. So do subscribe my channel if you have not subscribed it, and share with your friends. I assure you that I will keep uploading with the new videos for class 9 to 12 on literature section and writing section, as well as on grammar for high schoolers. So until my next video, see you, bye bye.